Well, everybody, it has been more than a week, and here we are to talk about The Last of Us episode 6, I believe. Of course it's episode 6. Says it right in the corner for me. We're going in, again, with zero notes, potentially all over the place. Let's see if we can make it to like 40 minutes like we did last time. Maybe, maybe not. I gotta recall what happened in this episode. But another fine episode. Actually, we got some issues to bring up with this terrible television show. That's a teaser with a little bit of sarcasm and exaggeration. But you'll see. We'll talk about it all as we progress. We start with the old couple, right? Are we jumping right in? I usually fuck around for a little while before this. But maybe I won't. We do start with the old couple. Again. Oh, this is actually something I was thinking about. So, again, it's like them just fucking around. It's the best part of the episode, just like it has been for, like, episodes 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Well, not really 3. That stuff was good. Probably wasn't the best part of the episode. Anyway, just them fucking around, interacting with people, being funny. It's the best stuff, obviously. And then I realized that it's all these little elements, besides just making it seem like almost not uncinematic in a sense, but untelevision show like. We are just dicking around. Like, you could totally complain about these filler scenes or something. Even though I guess there is plot in them, because it's basically them getting from point A to point B. Remember when people used to say that about the first game, how it was just about getting from point A to point B? What a terrible game. I remember. But it is not even low energy. It just does feel low stakes and stuff, but it's so good. Character interactions are so much better than nonsense fucking plots. Even though there are plots in these, or plot beats in these scenes. I've also realized that it replicates the game feel a little bit, because the game is so isolated about these two characters, really. They're the only consistent thing throughout the game, or besides the first little bit. That it really creates like the two people out on an adventure vibe. And I really hadn't thought about that in the TV show. I'm just like, oh, they're just doing it. That's kind of one of the problems I guess they have with this episode, is that I don't buy that they're this far along in their relationship yet. Should we just jump ahead then? The old couple is great. Their acting is great. Again, like understated goodness. She was very funny. He was very funny. They were very endearing. It made them very likable very quickly. They're hunting rabbits, and that reminds you of 2 Last of Us scenes that are sort of connected to this. I guess this is because obviously there's the scene right after it turns to winter, which it is not winter at this point in the game yet. I assume they made it winter to have Jackson be seen in the winter, because that's really how we've only ever seen it. I guess at the very beginning of Last of Us Part 2, before we do the time skip, it's not snowing. And obviously in the first game it's not snowing, but we never actually see Jackson like on the street or anything. We just see sort of the wall. It's a metal wall. They changed that in the second game. Can you believe it? But yeah. So I think they changed it so that it would look like Part 2 or the beginning of Part 2 and give you them 2020 nostalgia rushes as you saw it out, because you see the lights. Remember the lights chart? Remember me freaking out last week that we were going to see the lights? We definitely saw the lights. We saw Shimmer 2 and maybe Dina, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. No Jesse. Not an Asian kid in sight. There probably was, but I didn't see any. And there was certainly no special focus on it. What were we talking about? Oh, changing it to winter, and how that was different to the game somehow. Them not being that far along in the relationship. We're all going to get into all of that, but I felt like there was a stationary point here that we had to talk about, but I'm not remembering. Cyclet talking about the universe. He's obsessed. But anyway. 40 sphere, it's getting bigger or something. Do we now just jump? Because whatever the potential point I thought I had, we've moved past. I don't know, the dialogue with the old couple is so good. Best part of the episode, hashtag it. Ellie just stealing shit, that was funny. Oh, the rabbit scenes, it reminds you of the first winter scene. That's where we were going with that. Where Ellie has to hunt a rabbit by herself because Joel's all fucking stabbed up. Well, he's not stabbed up, not this fucking game retconning, but he gets impaled. I was curious because I was thinking about that a little bit last week going into this episode. Not last week on the actual review, I don't think. But especially as I was watching it, it became more and more obvious that we were actually going to get to the college. Like, are they really going to have him get impaled like that? I feel like you can get away with that in a game, but you couldn't get away with that in a TV show without people screaming about how unrealistic it is. Because she does just, like, inject him with some needles or something, and then he's better. And he is better very quickly. I wonder if Joel's agency I guess it's going to be episode 8, not episode 7, because we watched the preview, and it seems like the preview next time is all Ellie backstory, which will leave the cliffhanger on for longer, which I assume is what they want tension-wise. I wonder if Joel will just do nothing and Ellie will save herself from David. I'm pretty sure Joel won't be killing any... no, you probably want to have the scene of Joel interrogating those two dudes. Though maybe this weak-ass, pussy-ass fucking TV show Joel wouldn't do it. We'll talk about that in a second. I dreamed we collabed last night, played Indiana Jones. Is there even an Indiana Jones game? Stop distracting me, Ciclet. There are 2 bunny scenes. We're still on that. And obviously the next one is Ellie after the... all the Seattle shit is wrapped up. She's already killed her money, and then she takes it back to the barn, which obviously, or the farmhouse, which is obviously kind of hinted at in this episode a little bit. I assume Pedro Pascal is going to have to sing at some point. I don't know if he can sing. Because we set up the singing thing that they set up in the college in the game too, and obviously that's a big thing in the second game. So in Season 2, he's going to have to sing that fucking Pearl Jam song. Better get to fucking practicing. If Troy Baker can do it in his fake, weird Joel voice. He even sings Wayfaring Stranger like that. Pedro Pascal's going to have to shape up or ship out, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so bunnies, Lamau. Bunnies are a Last of Us thing, so that was a cute thing when he was hunting 3 fucking bunnies. I guess we're moving on from the old couple now. It'll be sad to see them go. Was the based communism in the game? I'm potentially waiting for more molding Ben Shapiro reviews because of it. I didn't even think about that. At first I was like, nah, this is some soy fucking lefty shit. I hate The Last of Us. Fucking cuckman. And then I was like, yeah, because it's never explicitly said, at least I don't think. But yeah, that probably is how it works in the game too. I don't think, like, everybody has their own house, and Joel's house is, like, nice and big. And one dude runs the bar, but I've never seen anybody pay for anything at the bar. Yeah, because it probably makes sense. Like, if there's, like, 300 people. Of course, communism can work on a small scale, you understand. I think Joel even says something like that in this episode. Or maybe it's Tommy. But, no, it's not explicitly said, but I've decided that it is what would be happening. Because, yeah, even when you walk through, like, the market-esque stuff at the beginning of the game, like, I don't think there's any, like, for $3 or whatever, get a fucking ham. I think you just get what you want because you're working and stuff. Because Jackson is a nice place. So, yeah. They did a race change with Maria too, which is fine. But I thought she was like 25. But I guess she's probably older than that. The stereotype is that black people age very well. So yeah, she looked pretty young. So, because initially when she like asked the thing, because in the previews you could see them getting surrounded in the snow, and I'm like, is this something Jackson or something else? And obviously there's a very tense scene with the dog and stuff. And then you think Last of Us should do, man, Ellie's gonna stab a fucking dog like this. That fucking mutt deserved it. What the... Alice, I remember the mutt's name. What does she call the first horse? This is just a random thought I had, because at first I was like, oh my god, it's Shimmer from the second game, and then I'm like, wait, is Shimmer the horse from the first game? But then I'm like, no, Shimmer is the horse from the second game. Gets blown up from underneath Lamau. And then Dina falls the fuck over, and you're like, holy shit, Dina's dead already, this game's brutal. Dina wasn't dead yet. They do that a few times with Dina. Speaking of Dina, we're not up to that yet, chat. Stop rushing me. What the fuck was I talking about? It's like, because the horse has a dumb name and it's funny in the first game. I don't remember. What am I looking at chat for? Heath didn't even play this game. He's a fucking hack fraud watching this fucking TV show. Horse in the Last of Us name. It's just going to come up with Shimmer, huh? Fuck Shimmer, you fucking idiot. Callus. I guess that's not the dumbest name. Callus just got shot, I'm pretty sure. Spoiler alert. Dead horses. Truth has showed up. We were talking about him earlier. Charlotte, I think. He was close. Don't know why I think that. Fuck. Clols. Callus, yes. Where are we up to an hour? Masterful review here. We were talking about horses. But before that, we were talking about the dog scene. And before that, we were talking about... I don't remember. Rabbits and then horse references and stuff to the second game. They're wandering a little bit. They go across a bridge. Oh, we were talking about Maria. So Maria's pregnant, which is not a thing in the game. Wait, is it a thing in the game? I don't think so, now that I've thought about it for a second. Because I don't think they have any children in the second game. Because, no, obviously Maria in the show could lose the baby or something. But I guess it will add more tension as to why Maria leaves Tommy, though it makes perfect sense in the second game. But if he, runs out on their kid to go and get revenge, that's probably more bad. Oh no, are they trying to make the Ellie side look worse in the next game by having Tommy run out on his kid and other things like that, and having Ellie be a psycho from the beginning? Uh-oh. Abby supremacy. Let's go. But yeah, so that first scene was interesting. Because, yeah, I wasn't sure if, Tommy's group was going to come in and kill the dudes on the horses, or if they were the dudes on the horse, but then she asks what his name is, and she recognizes it, and et cetera, et cetera. Hope you were saying how big-brained my AOT YouTube comments used to be, otherwise I'd be very distinguished. No, I was just saying truth a bunch, and then I transitioned into saying truth, and then we were like, oh, well, I wonder if truth is going to show up. That's all we said. Where do we go from here? Are we going straight to Jackson? Oh, they have they're the River of Death or some shit because they've got a bad reputation. But just because you got a bad reputation doesn't mean you're bad or whatever they say. But when we start to get the Jackson imagery, you get the soy boy chills. You understand. The Tommy and Joel reunion is great. It's everything you would want. And then they are in the barn with the lights, eating crazy stuff. And Tommy says that he's married. So we've cut a bunch of stuff from the game, kind of, but it's all gameplay stuff. They're not at the dam. They don't have to get the dam working. The dam is not attacked by raiders. That means they did cut the cute Ellie scene where you sort of realize finally and thoroughly that they are they do have a very strong relationship, is after they're cornered in the room and Joel and Tommy save Maria and Ellie. Ellie runs out and has the kid moment where she's just saying a million things at once and is hyped up on the adrenaline, and it's really cute. So that all got cut. And obviously later all the college stuff is 10 minutes, which is funny. It's a cool level, but it is just a lot of exploring and fighting. No flamethrower, shake my head. I guess... no, we'll bring up the potential passing out stuff. I think the rest of the episode, I don't think it's bad, I just think it's worse than the game. Like, the Tommy-Joel conversation, I feel like I like the game version so much more. Obviously, the big climactic confrontation, they didn't even try to do the ice line, but it has all the same issues of, like, it's like word-for-word dialogue, and I'm saying it under my breath as I watch it, but it just sounds wrong. So it's just like, I don't like it at all. And I even saw a tweet that was annoying where it was like, it had them right next to each other. It's like, word for word, it's incredible. What an adaptation or something. And I wanted to kill somebody. But Twitter's being dumb. Who knew? Also, when we first see like Ellie's, like where she's staying, which is, I don't think her and Joel are staying in the same place. They're like right next to each other. But like the little like thing under the window, I don't know what it's called, where you can sit on it and stuff. And when they showed that in where they were staying, I was like, oh, so we're doing that scene here, which is interesting. Because Ellie, like, chucks a fit and, like, runs away. And that's cute. But, yeah, so we just did it in that room. I guess there isn't really much to say about that scene besides the fact that it just, every line sounded wrong. And so it's, like, irritating. But I'm sure it's great if you've never actually seen the game or if you've only played the game like one time and you don't remember every fucking line. But yeah. Although the OG scenes are so iconic, the show felt like a parody, even though everything was well done acting directions. Yeah. I do feel... I don't know if it feels like a parody. It just feels like, oh, we're saying the words wrong. Like, why is the inflection off? I don't know. But obviously you can't try to mirror the inflection exactly. I don't know. The only solution I can come up with for my personal indiscretions here is to just change the dialogue more. But obviously you want that shout-out moment where you're doing the exact same dialogue. There was another scene like this in the episode. What was it? Oh, them talking about football as they run up on the college, I guess is fine. I guess that's just like... I guess that is part of a cutscene, I guess, but it's just like a transitionary one. It's not a big one like the confrontation here. Now, I'm lying because the Tommy and Joel talk is different, and I don't know if there's many lines at all that are similar. But I like it a lot more in the game. I think I just like Joel in the game a lot more, and we kind of teased talking about this earlier. But Joel at the beginning of the episode, and it happens twice, is having like panic attacks. Because he's scared of Ellie dying or whatever. I do like the line he has about failing in his sleep. That's kind of flowery and poetic, and I like it. They are... How do we say this without it sounding like a meme? They are suing Joel out. He's a big fucking pussy in the show. He has the scene where he, like, cries to Tommy. I love that he shows up in the game and he's so mean to Tommy. He's like, no, fuck you. You're my little brother. You're going to finish this fucking thing. I'm out of here. Fuck you. Fuck her. And he, like, wants to fight him, which is kind of similar to how they're trying to do this scene. But then the payoff of it is, like, I don't know. I think I just like that Joel is much more stoic in the game. Around Ellie, too. Like, there's a line in here, and I think it's at the beginning of the confrontation scene where she's like, do you care about me or not? And he says, of course I do, or something. And I don't think there's any equivalent like that ever between Joel and Ellie in the games. And I sort of like that it's kind of standoffish like that, and it's not as direct. I don't know. Being direct like that cringes me out a little bit. I don't know. There's something marginally different. We also missed the scene of Maria, like, getting really pissed at Joel, which I think is a really good scene too, in the game. And also the context being different for, like, Joel's decision to actually stick with Ellie, like, instead of him going to the stables early to get her or whatever, like, them not going back to Jackson, but just give that horse on back to Tommy, and then they fucking run off. That's really cute. I don't know. Like, even in the episode, like, there's the moment where he's like, oh, you get a choice, and she immediately says, I want to go with you. And I do like that scene a little bit, but it is, I don't know, it's funny. And I don't know if, like, I wanted funny there. And I think maybe I don't like Bella Ramsey as much either, because it is still the funny sassiness that sort of is permeating through, rather than, like, the little girlness or the like, innocent little girlness, which I think might be intentional again for the part 2 stuff. Like, one of the lines the old dude has at the beginning of the episode is like, who's this little psycho? And that's cute. And in the game, it would just be cute. But here it's like, I don't know, Ellie is a little fucking psychotic. But anyway, have you heard of Denny's Brolsman Kid Bully? I have no idea what Sicklet's talking about. And he will not distract me from my Last of Us talk. Is that everything there is to say? Well, there is the Maria and Ellie scene that happens off screen in the game, because she does find out about Sarah somehow. Oh, also there's no photo thing where Tommy has, like, an old photo of Sarah and Joel says he doesn't want it. Also, there's, like, the scene where Joel sees who he thinks is Sarah in the street, and that's when he has a second panic attack, I think. Maybe it's a little too obvious. Maybe that's my problem with this. But yeah. I guess we didn't talk about the potential Dina sighting. Obviously, my eyes were lasered. We gotta find Dina and Jesse and get rid of these shitty fucking Part 1 characters. But yeah, there's no Jesse, and there is a girl that's looking at Ellie, and then maybe she's the same girl that was sitting next to her at the movies. I did really like the scene at the movies where Ellie realizes that people like talking about her around her, and she, like, has this sort of anxiety that she's going to be, like, caught, and she's all out in the open, and you feel like everybody's looking at you, but because, like, oh, somebody's being told that she's infected and they're going to kill her. That was a very well-captured feeling, a very relatable feeling, I think. Everybody's been in that position, so that was cool. And maybe Dina was sitting next to her. It is not Dina from the game, if it is, who we were speculating last time, whether or not she would be the same actress. But her and Bella Ramsey look very different. Age-wise. We're disconnecting from stream real quick, but the YouTube audience, you're still with me. Let me check. Stream. I got caps lock on my phone. Is the internet out generally, or is it just on my laptop? I'll cut from here. Well, to continue without the power of the internet, my little logo on the corner won't light up anymore because we're not connected to the internet. That's very sad. But where the fuck were we up to? I think we were nearing being done. We had... Oh, I can't even check binge on, like, the scroll wheel to check what we missed. Oh, yeah, I can. It's still loading. We were talking about how Joel's a pussy-ass bitch and that I don't like it. Joel crying and stuff. What the fuck is this, huh? What a bunch of nonsense. Not my Joel, not ever. Are we literally done? Is there anything else to speak about? Oh yeah, I guess we haven't talked about the last bit really at all. Tommy is cool. Oh, the Maria Ellie scene with the Sarah stuff. We see that happen on screen. We see Ellie's immediate reaction to it, which is interesting. She sort of no-sells it in the moment. which is interesting. We also get teasers with Tommy's like gun that he uses in the second game in that one mission with Ellie during the period where Ellie's not talking to Joel, and it's a whole setup for a mission and stuff. They go to like the music store, I think. That's where they find the couple that did get infected, and Ellie sort of has a breakthrough. Like she's starting to doubt Joel during that period. Last of Us Part 2 is great. I guess the college stuff at the end, they kind of just walk through. We see the monkeys. We don't really get the revelation with the monkeys, huh? We don't hear the recording and how the monkeys are infected and they bit that one dude and that's how he died. His skeleton wasn't even in the chair. They just see like a packings list. And like, well, they moved, and they go upstairs and there's like 4 raiders showing up. And Joel gets stabbed instead of impaled by falling off the balcony. We did talk about that. That wasn't on the pre-stream session, was it? I think that was in the recording where he talked about that. Something I actually noted on Twitter is that if you look at the final shot, I assume it's like a fake horse prop or something in the background, but it looks really bad, and it's all I could look at in the final shot, which was just funny. It's like Ellie worrying over Joel, and it's a long shot, and it keeps like pulling back until we fade to black and the credits start, and the horse just looks so still and fake. I'm sure 99% of people didn't notice, but for my poor soul, that's all I could look at. And I know what's happening anyway. And there actually was a line. They did do a lot of neat fake Joel like death flags in the episode where it's like, oh, he's starting to like have these panic attacks, and what is that? And then Ellie even says, like, if you die, I'm fucked. And then that comes back at the end where she kind of says it in a similar sense at the very end. She's like, I can't do this without you or whatever. There wasn't a cool moment where Ellie has to kill a bunch of dudes just to protect Joel as he, like, wanders back. That could have been cool, too. They're just cutting everything out here. All the cool shit. What a terrible television program. But no, overall, even though I'm complaining a bunch, I still think it's pretty good. I was thinking about this overall, because I was thinking, lately I've been saying, like, The Last of Us Part 1 is, like, an 8 out of 10. It's probably a 9 out of 10, but I'd probably say the show is... Episode 3 was really good, huh? And it's had some very good moments. I guess the show is like an 8. I was going to say that the show and the game are probably the same. Like the same numbered rank, though I would always say that the game was better. At least so far. God. Wait until Abby shows up and I'm complaining about things. Then you'll see the real nitpicking happening. When the real characters show up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I guess this is something I didn't really touch on that much, which was the fact that I don't believe that their relationship... Like, it seems like it kind of comes out of nowhere that, like, they do care about each other already. Now, obviously they would... But, like, them just saying it out loud and it being put up to the test, it being immediately assumed, I don't know, I didn't feel like they were that far along. Like, we've had, like, 4 episodes with them, really. Though we did get some stuff in episode 3 with them. But I don't know. And there have been moments with them, like the laughing at the end of episode 4. That feels like the first step on the journey. Now, obviously, we cut away for 3 months. And I guess it could be seen as a way of, like, well, everybody knows where this is going, let's just speed through it. Especially since the audience does care about them together. I don't know, I feel like the game did a much better job at that. And I think it does a much better job at that through, like, those nice Ellie, like, sort of innocent moments the show really has neglected or haven't really infused into Bella Ramsey's version of Ellie. But yeah, so there's some things that I'm not feeling. Obviously, next episode, as we mentioned throughout, is seemingly all flashback stuff. I mean, it could be interesting to expand on the Fedra training, etc. I guess Left Behind... Honestly, I'm not that familiar with Left Behind. So, like, they could do word-for-word stuff next episode, and I just wouldn't pick up on it, because, again, I've played Left Behind, like, once, and maybe seen one playthrough of it or something, whereas I played through The Last of Us, like, I don't know if I've ever actually fully played through it twice, but I've definitely played through up until, like, the Tommy Dam part, like, 7 times, and watched people play through it more. So, yeah, and I've watched a bunch of people play the whole thing before. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe we'll cut back and forth. Maybe not. It'll be interesting if we get the Ashley Johnson stuff next episode. Because I assume she is playing Ellie's mother. We still haven't seen Troy Baker either. If he's the father, that would be funny. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Next episode will be interesting. Especially since it seems like we got Left Behind, David, then the finale. Which honestly I think probably would work timing-wise, especially if they want to make the finale like an hour and 20 minutes long like episode 3 was, which they probably will, because you want to do the giraffe stuff at the very beginning and then go through all this stuff. It will be interesting how you translate that like final level into a TV show, because it could be like a 5-minute scene. Though I imagine there'll probably be some more Joel flashbacks during that period. And then, yeah, it depends. Also, it depends if you want to open episode 9 with the Abby and her dad stuff, which I think you will. It'll be interesting, but I think we will. Plus the post-credit scene. Can't think about the post-credit scene. I can't forget, rather, about the post-credit scene. Easy for me to say. But yeah, I think that is finally it. It was a good episode, who cares? The YouTube audience, which is all I got right now, because the internet died. We will see you next week. I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard anything about it being delayed or anything like that. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned. Stick around. Can't wait. Support links in the description below. Thanks.